think it was maybe, is this on?
It's on.
Maybe David posted this on the Faulkner County Tea Party page, I can't remember, but 2,972 developmentally disabled, I believe that's what that's DD, are on a wait list right now. And
Yes.
they have been, and I remember I went to a meeting that Governor Wilson had at CBC when a question was asked about that too, a person that had a child that's been on a list forever. And so there's still this wait list. What are you?
That list does not move, and
But they're the ones that need it most.
Agreed.
of all.
It moves very slowly. The only way that we can dissolve that wait list, and a couple ideas have come up, and they've both kind of failed. One of them was the acronym CFCO.
Community First Choice.
There you go. I couldn't even remember I remember the CFCO. I couldn't remember what it was.
What's it?
What, David? It's
CFCO is Community First Choice Option.
That's it, community first choice option. And that was going to be sort of duplicating another version of Affordable Care Act, so we would bring in more federal money and it would dissolve the wait list. And we the legislature declined that and said no. That would have done away with the wait list, but again, it would have put Arkansas on I mean, that federal money would not continue at 100% forever, kind of like the Affordable Care Act. Eventually, we were going to have to start paying a portion of it. And what it looked like on the budget, the legislature said no. So along came another plan, which was to create a trust fund using savings from managed care. Now, managed care never actually made it to the legislature. The legislature was pretty clear during the last special session that it would likely fail if brought before the legislature for the special session. It was at least going to be a very huge, large debate and a long debate. The special sessions, typically, you bring the legislature in for 3 days to get something resolved and then moved on. Occasionally, it's different than that. The governor did not put it on the call. He didn't feel that there was enough support from the legislature to pass managed care. Managed care is where basically the state hires companies to do exactly that, managed care, determine that, okay, you are eligible for cataract surgery or you're not. And that's a company that does that, and that's the way you save a lot of money. So the monetary savings that the state would realize was going to go into part of it would go into a trust fund, and that trust fund would then fund the DD waiting list and bring that down over a course of, I believe it was 7 years or 8 years, and would dissolve it in that amount of time. I believe that was a number of years, Dave. I can't remember for sure. Again, the legislature was divided, but it was fairly sure that managed care was not going to pass. It'll be up to these guys in the next session whether they bring the idea of managed care forward again. As you can imagine, there's a large lobby, if you will, from the providers, medical providers, that managed care is bad, and they have some valid points. But they also, if there's that much money that can be saved by a managed care company, then who's charging too much for what? Who's doing unnecessary? Perhaps it's always an unnecessary operation when it's on someone else. When it's your cataracts, it's not so unnecessary. So. Anyway, that'll be something brought before the legislature, I'm pretty sure, in January, and that if that trust fund is set up, then it could disappear, the DD waiting list.
Got a question.
Sure.
What did I hear you say, Kelly, that there are 100,000 people on a waiting list to be assessed for ASA care?
Yes, sir.
It's
way, and if I get into the weeds, I'm going to get over my head in a hurry.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But actually, I'm headed from here to Northwest Arkansas tonight, where we have a forum with a lot of legislators. It's going to be in Bentonville. There's going to be, I understand, at least one TV station there, but I'm taking personnel with me that can answer these in the weeds questions. And I'm very concerned about answering too many right now because it's over my head.
Currently, there's 250 or 300,000 people, and we're talking about another 100,000?
Well, no, what I understand is that 100,000 is Medicaid backlog. And it could be, I guess, maybe Arkansas Works, but like almost every week, I get at least 1 or 2 emails from people to say, my Medicaid is not working. It's showing as inactive, or it's showing on hold. And it's been that way since January, and I can't go to a doctor or whatever. So that's what they're talking about, that 121,000. They're trying to get those back, because, you know, again, you've got renewals and everything else. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of those backlogs, and it happens to be because of that $130 million system that we put a lot of money into that didn't work properly. Is, you know, again, was supposed to be eligible, and remember it kicked out, there was 60,000 at one point that you heard. Now it's over 100,000 that it said, we don't think you're eligible. We need you to send paperwork in. These people have, or maybe they might not have known about it. And they're saying, yeah, we're eligible, and I can't go to a doctor. And so that's what they're trying to do to clear that.
All right, I'll try to go through some of these numbers pretty quick. First off, I'll tell you that since this was printed June 28th, we're down to 110,000, which we did a 1.13 release, was the software release that came in, and it immediately fixed about 11,000 people. So they upgraded the software, and that, I mean, it just, boom, happened. All right, if you see changes of circumstance, more than likely, those people are still receiving the Medicaid benefits, or at least 50% of those are. So they're not out there without Medicaid. It's just hung in the system, and we've not actually, maybe they've moved, which is a change of circumstance. We're still sending bills to the old address, and we have been for 6 months. We've not changed that. If we move over to renewal, those are exactly what David just mentioned. More than likely, they're still receiving the services that they were on before renewing. They've applied for renewal, and we've not absolutely said, yes, you're eligible. Pending applications, a majority of those are waiting to be told no. They've already been determined they're not eligible, but we've not got the letters out to them.
Okay, one last thing, David brought it up.
Sure.
The IT decisions that have been made and have cost us millions and millions of dollars, is it the same IT guy that's in place right now, or is it a different IT guy?
No, it's a different IT guy. He started in January. And we didn't even have a chief of IT. Yeah, again, that's what that organizational structure. And so we hired Jeff Dean, but he was not the chief of all information technology until this organizational structure started July 1st. But he was kind of acting chief. Everybody knew it was coming, so they're kind of getting to it. But so again, if you've got a bad organization, a bad organizational structure.
I'm HR.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you might put in an application. Yeah, we're looking for one. And so I'm going to finish this out real quick. The pending applications, I don't know what exactly the percentage, but a lot of those probably are not qualified, and we've not gotten the letter to them saying no or whatever. Newborns, that number has dropped significantly as well. These are people that have been born and have not yet, we've not got them into the system, quite honestly. The system's hung. Again, that number is dropping, but we've got a contract hopefully going through today, which will give us some relief. To really complicate things, when we talk about the software, we have people sitting at desks using two computers using two different pieces of software, and we're trying to get them to move this from here. They have to know which computer to enter what into. And then we have a company that their job is to integrate the two systems together so they can communicate. And so we're not the only state doing this. There's companies out there that are contracting with state after state after state to fix their messes. We're not it's not like all the other 49 states are doing great and Arkansas is the only one with this problem. We're right in the thick of things. We're in the middle. So we're fixing it.
Good presentation.